Yo, it's your boy JYD here, and I just started watching UFC about 8 days ago, I want to say. And being embraced into the community and the culture has been absolutely amazing. A lot of boxers don't give UFC and or MMA much credit or much acknowledgement. Um, and me, I'm open. I'm an open book, man. I love the different styles of martial arts. And yeah, I've been known to make a joke about MMA, UFC, and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, you still don't get a pass. We still feel how we feel about you, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. There be a lot going on. A lot of people in the MMA world feel the same way about y'all. But it is what it is. We'll cross that bridge eventually when we get there. But nonetheless, I just want to talk about some fighters right now that have absolutely stood out to me, that my community has put me onto. So if you follow me on Twitch, then you would know that we stream every day. We live stream UFC fights and some amazing fights, and we're going to start dipping into more martial arts fights as well, from some kickboxing, some Muay Thai, K1, etc. So if you're interested in any of that and and you have time to watch the Twitch streams, because we can't upload them to YouTube. So if you have time to do that, pop on into the Twitch. The Twitch is JYD_world. Um and yeah, pop in, have fun, give your fight suggestions there, and we will watch those fights that you request live. It is a great time. But with all that being said, uh the fighter that I want to talk about and cover today is one of the first fighters that I actually seen fight. And his name is pronounced, to the best of my ability, Petr Yan. Petr. But a lot of people say like Peter or Petr, but I believe the correct pronunciation of it in Russian is Petr Yan. Nonetheless, he is easily the most, if not the most well-rounded, probably the most well-rounded fighter in the entirety of the UFC. His ability, first of all, just as a boxer, I love how defensively sound he is, and I love the way that he's able to keep that nice, tight, conventional boxing stance that we're used to seeing, but he does it in a way that also works a lot in the UFC octagon, which is absolutely great because you are able to see how you can take that boxing style, incorporate it into the UFC, um, and then still be able to protect and check leg kicks and be on defense against takedowns, which being in a proper boxing stance can help you protect against takedowns when you know what to look for and when you know what it looks like when someone is trying to set up a takedown. Another person who does that absolutely amazingly, who we're going to talk about in a future video, who is quickly, as of yesterday, becoming one of my favorites to watch, is Khalil Roundtree. That guy, I love to watch that guy fight, but that's another video for another time. But that guy's great. But Peter, Piotr, Piotr, but we're gonna say Peter for now. But Petr Yan is like, I'm talking about, this guy is just, the thing about him is he's not necessarily special in one thing, but he's so proficiently sound in all things that it makes him an absolute Swiss Army knife. He's great against defending takedowns. He's great with defense when it comes to striking. He is very offensively sound when it comes to striking. He also does a great job with takedowns. He's also good at wrestling and grappling. He does everything so well. It's hard to beat a guy like that. One of the first fights that I did see for him was the Marab rematch. It was the Marab rematch, which was an absolute banger of a fight. But a fight that I also saw was him against Cory Sandhagen. I haven't watched much Cory Sandhagen after that fight, but I was very impressed with Petr Yan for that to be one of the first fights I've seen from him. That being said, as much as I am a Petr Yan fan, I do believe that Sandhagen may have done enough to edge it out. Now, that's just with my 8 days of looking into it. I don't have a super deep expertise of MMA. and or UFC, as a lot of people refer to it as. I don't have a deep knowledge of that, but my chat also does tell me, like, and I become way better with my breakdowns and my scoring on it. They say damage is very important as well. Like, that's the highest thing that is accounted for, is damage. Also, even if you look at things like takedowns are really awarded points when you take someone down, but then you can also keep control. So if you take somebody down but you don't have control and they shoot back up, you don't really get much of a point for that takedown. But I'm just giving just some of the little things that I've learned from scoring. That being said, I do think that Sandhagen in that last round, and I honestly think the last round was the deciding factor between Petr and Sandhagen. And I think Sandhagen may have done enough just to edge it out. With that being said, I'm not mad that Petr won that fight. I'm not mad at all, because when it's a close fight and it's a super close fight, super nip and tuck fight, there is really nobody that's, oh, he was cheated, he was cheated, it was a robbery and things like that. No, I don't believe in it. Not with close fights. Furthermore, in boxing, that's a narrative that is ran off so much, that if a fight is a close fight, then somebody was robbed. Are there robberies in boxing? Absolutely, there are 100% robberies in boxing, and it's out of control. But I did not see a robbery in the Piotr versus Sandhagen fight. I didn't see that. Am I mad that he won? No, because I'm a very big fan of his of Piotr. I think that I think he's definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, one of my favorite fighters. Also, his record, he's 20-5. And in boxing, guys will see a record like that and unfortunately act like, oh, well, yeah, he's probably going to be a gatekeeper or XYZ. And it's like, no, that's another thing I love about the UFC. The records, as long as you are somebody that really can fight and put on a show, you have an opportunity to win belts, win titles, and still be a very strong household name. And if you can fight and you can fight your ass off, then you are going to get the opportunities for 100%. Another guy who I want to watch more of is Joshua Van. I call him the honey badger. He is all over the place. When I see him fight Roy Val, I was like, oh my God, immediate fan of his. He's another one who we're going to do a future video on, as well as I always butcher his name. Carlos Prates. He is another one who is just an absolute YN, as they call him in my chat, because he is a crash out, and I love his style. And when he don't got no respect for you, he immediately shows you he don't got no respect for you. He knock you down, boom, he say, no, get back up, get up, and then punish you again with them elbows and them knees. And with him having over 100 Muay Thai fights, he shows you that, because he probably has the most diverse bag of elbows that are thrown, that are being thrown, that I've seen in all of the fights that I've watched from him. And I've watched maybe about 4 or 5 fights from Carlos Prates. He's another one that's great. But back to Piotr. I do think that fight was a super close fight. Maybe one day I'll watch it back again with my stream and with my chat and just see how it looks. But that being said, he is like, to me, he is like the Tim Duncan of the UFC world. It's not that he does anything necessarily special, because I don't think he does anything necessarily special. I think the thing that he does, if you can say special, is that he does everything proficiently. And I know that in martial arts, I want to say it was Bruce Lee who says, like, don't fear the man who has mastered one kick 1,000. No, don't be afraid of the man who has thrown 1,000 kicks one time, but be afraid of the man who has mastered one kick 1,000 times, or whatever today. But to that extent, it's basically like, oh, all he can do is essentially throw a perfect jab. That's just it. That's all he can do is throw a perfect jab. Once you eliminate that jab, he can do nothing else. That's not Piotr. You can take away the jab, he's going to adjust. You can take away grappling, he's going to adjust. You can take away wrestling, he's going to adjust. You can take away the ground game, he's going to adjust. You can do whatever you want to, he's going to adjust because he does everything proficiently. And that is a very, very dangerous fighter. Again, Tim Duncan, Mr. Fundamentals. When I see Petr, I see Mr. Fundamentals. And that right there is very important to me. And I love that so much because I'm a guy who is huge on with my boxing. Fundamentals are everything. If you don't have a proper base and proper fundamentals, then what do you have? So for me, this first ever episode, I would love to highlight Petr Yan. Uh, he's great. Petr is a great fighter. And again, even with that 20-5 record, he's still a champion at bantamweight. And he's still a force to be reckoned with. You are not going to be in for an easy night when you fight him. He starts off slow. He does. I think in boxing we call it downloading information. And I'm sure in the UFC MMA world it's essentially the same thing. He starts off slow. You are probably going to win the first round when you fight Petr. You're probably going to win the first round, but after that first round, you better be aware of the adjustments that he has made because after he makes those adjustments in that first round and he downloads the information that he needs to download, his distance get better, his pacing gets better, his striking gets better. His defense is always defensively sound. He always has his hands in the right place to catch and counter shots. If he needs to go for takedowns, he's going to take them takedowns. He knows how to defend takedowns. He knows how to defend the ground game. He knows how to go on offense with both of those things as well. He works the cage really, really well. And he also throws really good kicks. So it's not like he's just giving that first round away just to say, oh, I'm giving the first round away. Absolutely not. Once that first round is over, if you are not ready for the adjustments and the onslaught that he's going to put on you, because he's absolutely going to come forward. He is going to come forward and he is not going to run out of breath. He is not going to run out of gas. His gas tank is always full. So he's a very dangerous fighter. So that's why for this first ever episode, I'm highlighting Petr Yan because he absolutely deserves it. He is probably the most well-rounded fighter in the entirety of UFC, and he deserves a spotlight and he deserves a round of applause. Absolutely beautiful John by Petr Yan, just from being as skilled and as world class and as elite as he is. So that right there concludes the first episode. Thank you guys for joining my journey into the UFC / MMA. If you like what you see and you want to hear more breakdowns, please comment below. Please join the Twitch because that's where you're going to see all the live at, where we actually do watch these fights together. We stream for about at a time 4 hours, so we're watching about 4 or 5 hours at a time of UFC fights. And just going over them and watching them. And we don't pause a lot neither. We don't pause and do too many breakdowns. I like to give breakdowns when it's absolutely important, but I do call the fights. My chat actually calls the fights with me. They tell me the banger ass fights to put on, and I put them on, and we all watch them together. So that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for signing in and tapping into this first ever episode, man. From a boxer to the UFC community, thank y'all so much. UFC MMA community, thank y'all so much for welcoming me in, man, because you guys welcomed me in something amazing. And I know a lot of boxers don't give credit to MMA and to UFC. I've been known to make my jokes about MMA and UFC, and I also make my jokes about boxers too. So it's not a one-way street, but man, I love you guys, man. And also, I'm going to be practicing some MMA as well, and we're going to be going to some MMA gyms, getting some streams there. Hopefully, we're actually in talks right now for doing a stream with Beast Boy right now. We're going to be going out Pittsburgh after my fight, getting with Lonnie and some of the guys from Taylor Gang in that Pittsburgh gym, doing some MMA there, learning, having fun, and we got a couple other things up on the coming up on the horizon as well. Also, we're going to be doing BKFC on Friday live on Twitch. So be there or be square at the Xfinity Mobile Arena here in Philadelphia. We will be there for BKFC. Beautiful John, beautiful UFC John. I love y'all. Let me know what else y'all want to see here. I'm out. Peace.